Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Did you know that active shooters are becoming more prevalent in the United States? And there are things that you can do to help yourself to protect yourself at work. The first thing we use a saying of run, hide, fight. The first thing you want to do is find an exit and run as fast as you can and try to get away from the active shooter. If you're not able to run, the next thing you should do is hide. Hide anywhere you can. Get behind a locked door. Do everything you can to put barriers between the shooter and yourself. And the last one is fight. If there's no other options, you need to fight for your life. Everything becomes a weapon, and you will do everything you can to increase your survivability. Now, after the incident's over, there are going to be people that are hurt. And while we wait for emergency responders, they're here. I'm going to talk about some helpful things that we can do to assist your patients or your coworkers or your friends and your family from bleeding out and ultimately causing death. Come with me and I'll show you some stuff. One of the big problems we face is hemorrhaging, and we have to be able to fix that. And one of what I'll call the silver linings of the war on terror is that combat medicine has drastically changed, and that has spilled over into the United States on a day-to-day basis. And that is the use of tourniquets. Tourniquets once was a very taboo way of stopping bleeding. And then after the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, they found that it's actually one of the go-tos early on. So I have my assistant here who has been unfortunately shot during an active shooter. And I'm going to use a tourniquet. And you can use anything as a tourniquet, to be honest with you. You can use the belt. Just avoid using like thin things like a rope or shoelaces. A shirt, if you can get it tight enough. Anything that will occlude the blood flow from the artery will be sufficient. So I'm going to come on here. Let's say she's bleeding right there. Come here. And I'm going to cinch it down. And then I'm going to turn this windlass, and I'm going to do it until the bleeding stops. I'm going to put that there to lock it in place, and I'm going to write the time. And then I'm going to get her out of here. Another great advancement in medicine, especially dealing with traumatic bleeding, is the use of combat gauze or quick clot. Basically, it's gauze that's impregnated with clotting chemicals to help with clotting. And the way this works, this is very different than any other type of bleeding control. Basically, this is a wound cube. It simulates different types of injuries, and we have some blood, some fake blood there. So basically, you take your clot out, or your quick clot out, and you're going to tie a knot at the end of it, right? And what I'm going to do is, the key part of this is the clotting factor needs to be against, or the clotting agent needs to be against whatever is bleeding actively. So you can't just place it over the wound like direct pressure. You actually have to physically get in there. So I'm going to take this, and this simulates a shotgun wound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in, and I found the spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to push it in, and I am holding that spot, and I just keep adding to it and never taking the pressure off the bleeding point. And this stuff is amazing. Again, the war on terror has been pretty rough for our country and our service members. However, the medical advancements have come as a result of it are pretty amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep packing this, right? And I'm going to keep doing this until it's full. And then I'm going to put a bulky dressing on top of it and tie it down like a regular bandage. So I'll just use the rest of this, and then I'd wrap this. My daughter carries one of these in her bag. So this is something that you could use. Anybody can carry. They're readily available everywhere you go. And this will truly stop the bleeding and will help you in the event that you are a part of an active shooter or any type of traumatic bleeding. And I hope these things that I've explained to you today will be helpful in your day-to-day life. Unfortunately, the world we live in Good luck out there and be safe.